What's good, YouTube? Man of Steel here, and Deluxe Pack EX has introduced 9 solo battles, and today we'll be taking on the 8th battle, Solgaleo EX. As always, we'll be taking this battle exclusively with using the specified type and the Pokemon that are 3 diamonds or less. If you find these videos helpful or enjoy all things Pokemon Pocket, please consider subscribing so you don't miss a thing. Let's start by bringing down the deck that we're going against, and once again, similar to the Guzzler list that we covered in the last video, from these Deluxe battles, they just seem to have no proper direction. They felt like just adding too many cards, or basically the lack of direction leaves the AI completely lost and they don't know what to prioritize in terms of what to charge, when realistically this deck should just be building up on Solgaleo and swinging. Instead, we get this amalgamation of steel types with little to no synergy. The elephant in the room has to be the Dialga EX. It makes zero sense as to why this card's in the deck, as in the time that they take to build up a Dialga, they could have easily just been building up the Solgaleo or the Magearna, both that swing for more damage than what the Dialga is doing. Not to mention that's technically slower and lead Pokemon being an EX, so they get 2 points and then you just have to chip away at Magearna or snipe a Cosmog and the game's over. From there, the other odd choices would have to be Dawn and Cyrus. I'm aware of the niche play in which Dialga swings for 2, charges the back, and then you're able to charge and then Dawn so it can swing for 100 as a follow-up. But realistically, how often will the opponent be able to do that or even like figure it out? Most of the time, cards like E-Switch and Dawn are used by the AI by just like randomly, like they'll put a energy on the bench and they're like, what, this Dawn is glowing, and they'll just use it. So again, not really making sense of why that's there. Also, Cyrus, they have no way of hitting the bench or like forcing out. Realistically, if they play it correctly, Solgaleo is just knocking out everything on your side of the board. So a card like Cyrus doesn't really come up as much as this. I would just suggest like maybe Sabrina would have been a better fit. Who's to say? As a whole, this deck has no answer to whatever you establish as your main attacker, nor can they manipulate the board as long as it's healthy. The Rocky Helmets, however, can be a big problem given our strategy. Thus, you will see we do respect it when building our deck to take this on, which, speaking of, the deck that we'll be using is Togekiss. And if you watch my guides in order, yes, we doubled up on Togekiss. We use Togekiss for Guzzlord, and we're using it now for Solgaleo. However, given that the opponents are very different, there are actually some slight modifications to make this specific list more geared towards Solgaleo. The strategy, however, has not changed. It is still establishing a Togekiss and going vert, like swinging, hopefully with Cynthia to make it as strong as possible. On paper though, this matchup does seem very tough, as with the type disadvantage and Solgaleo being essentially able to knock out Togekiss in one hit, kind of forces our hand to max out on Giant Cape to put Togekiss above the threshold of 140. And once you're able to survive that one attack from Solgaleo, you're able to return for the knockout as Cynthia plus the Togekiss ability. So swinging for 170 is enough to knock out a Solgaleo that just swung at you because of the self-inflicting 10 damage. Another noticeable change was the previously mentioned respect for Rocky Helmet, as we do play Guzma in this list, unlike the Guzzlord one, as it's essential for the overall success of the deck. As we just mentioned, that extra 20 that Giant Capes give us is very important, so just losing it to a Rocky Helmet kind of defeats the purpose. So we need to make sure Guzma's there to remove any Rocky Helmets. The final change is using Cleffa over something like Comfey, since Solgaleo is not threatening us with any status conditions. Ideally, setting up more than one Togekiss to maximize the ability to close it out, whether or not they find the Solgaleo. For a better idea or a look at how the deck is supposed to function, stick around for the gameplay, and as always, leave any questions in the comments down below. Thank y'all for watching. Please consider subscribing, and above all else, stay pro. Alright, going first, which if we draw Cleffa gives us a pretty good advantage. Like we're basically going, like we're going first, but we get to attack technically in a way. Also, its opening hand is really good between double research, already having Togetic, and above everything else is them leading Magearna. Rare Candy, guaranteed Togekiss search, by the way. Let's go. Yeah, this is as good as it gets, really. As far as do we protect Cleffa, probably not, if I'm being honest. Our repel would be clutch, honestly. If there's like one last thing that I could ask for. There's two ways of playing it. I think I'm gonna go this route, especially since we have Lily in hand. Yeah. Like technically I could have like stalled the turn and then start swimming with Togekiss, but doing it this way, we're able to get Magearna in range for a Togekiss knockout, and then we start setting up. We could hold the Cynthia for, instead of having to use the Cynthia to knock out Magearna, we could use Lily to heal and then use Cynthia to one-shot everything that follows up. Even a Solgaleo, although Solgaleo we would need Cape, but based on the board we're kind of fine here. They put the energy on the Magearna, which is what matters. Because with Cape is that we're able to survive Solgaleo attack. Otherwise, we're kind of like SOL, I guess is the word. Let's see here. A second research. Can't complain. We got both of our own. Another Rocky Helmet. Don't care much for that. Okay, yeah. This is wrap. If they're not setting up Solgaleo, they're already losing. And if they do set up Solgaleo, we're just one Cape away from being fine. So we go here. Realistically, we don't even have to Lily. Probably better off like using Guzma, but generally doesn't matter. They have no way of setting up any damage whatsoever. I guess their best bet is if they start throwing Cosmog. If they throw Cosmog at us and try to set up a Solgaleo, that could be scary, I guess. Although that's something that Repel would fix, right? So maybe if you were to make your own changes, it would be adding an extra Repel. I could see an extra Repel going a long way here. Yeah, none of this is going to save him. And now we have a backup Togekiss that could actually take on the Solgaleo. Should have Guzma there, but again, it's not like they're gonna Mars us or red card us. But they have no other tool to add, so it would have definitely been the better play. Yeah. Do they have Solgaleo is the question. Hard retreat when your Pokemon says teleport. Gotta love the AI. Cynthia making it so we swing for 170, which is still crazy to me. Like how well Togekiss does in these solo battles. Low key gets me like wanting to use it in ranked, but it's just not a realistic thought because there's the setup, there's the need for rare candy, and then there's cards like Greninja that are just so much better at doing what this does. But whatever. That's example number 1. As always, we do multiple, so let's jump to example number 2. All right, this time we get to go second, so we show you both examples. One going first and one going second, obviously. We once again have Cleffa. I guess there's no reason not to put it up for it. Worst case, we just like swap it out. Again, they don't have no hand manipulation or whatever, so we could just put down Togepi. They also they don't have Repel or Sabrina. They have Cyrus for some reason. As if Solgaleo's not gonna just one-shot everything that we have. Alright, so really good spot to be in because we are just like I would actually want a Cynthia here, or actually Repel's really good here as well. If they put their energy on Magearna first, we might be cooking. Cape definitely on here. Again, it doesn't really matter the order we're putting it because, like, if I was playing against a computer, I mean against ranked with this deck, which I probably wouldn't be doing, I would consider it. Actually, it doesn't matter whether we swing, so it's might as well thin the deck out. I was like, oh, if we hit it for 20, that would only be 70. We still can't knock it out, right? So, all right. Energy on Cosmog is kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. However, let's do not Guzma. Let's do Repel. But again, retreating is not their issue because of Solgaleo's ability. But what we really want is putting ourselves in a position where we're in the right position to knock out Solgaleo as long as we draw Cynthia. If we don't draw Cynthia, it could get a little awkward. Because when Solgaleo swings, they'll go down 10 HP. It puts it at 170, which is what we swing at with Togekiss plus the Cynthia. But I guess at this point, we're either hoping top deck Cynthia or that they just don't see the Solgaleo. Lucky for us. And now we set up a second Togekiss line. We could hold Guzma until we see the second helmet. Or until Magearna gets into active. Alright, here's the knockout. Again, one reason Togekiss works in this challenge, because realistically, we do have the type disadvantage. They do hit us hard. If we don't have Cape, our main attacker is gone. Our only attacker is gone. But what makes it work is just how all over the place the deck is really. Like, you see, this is a game already. And if we top deck Cynthia, we were gonna win regardless. Whatever. But yeah, Dialga has no synergy with Solgaleo. Technically, quite literally, does not have synergy with Magearna either. But it has so much things going on for no reason, and I'm just gonna stop yapping and just take this. I probably already said this on in the deck profile, anyways. But yeah, as you can see, it's pretty simple. Yes, you might have to take an attempt, or maybe take more than one attempt. If they set up Solgaleo way too fast and you either don't have your Togekiss or you're missing Cynthia, like had they had Solgaleo there, we might have been a little tough situation. / not really, because we did have a backup Togekiss. But yeah, it's rather simple. We don't have to get too creative or like play like a Alakazam or anything like we did with the Espeon one that was too fast. I mean, not the Espeon one, the Skarmory list, because this list is just all over the place, wanting too many things to do, too many things that don't even like link up. So hopefully this list works for you like it did for me. I'm kind of sorry that's so similar to the list from yesterday. However, I hope you can see the differences, or why the differences are there, or why there could be differences. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and above all else, stay pro.